I've lived by the lake for the past 8 years, in a quiet cul-de-sac, just on the edge of what the local homeowners association, Whispering Pines, HOA, considers their territory. It's a beautiful place. Birds, trees, and this glittering lake that stretches 4 miles. My boat, the Free Spirit, has been docked here since I moved in. Peaceful, quiet, perfect, until they came. Asterisk. It started with a letter stuffed in my mailbox. Greater than, Dear resident, you are in violation of HOA regulations by docking a watercraft in the community lake. Please remove the vessel within 14 days or face fines. Sincerely, Whispering Pines HOA Compliance Department. Asterisk. I frowned, reread it, and laughed, 'cause here's the thing they didn't seem to know. I own the lake. Literally. It's not some boast. It's not metaphorical. I legally, officially, and rightfully owned the body of water called Lake Hawthorne. Years ago, when I bought this property, I also bought the undeveloped land around the lake, which included legal water rights. While other homes were later built near its edge, none of the buyers or the HOA ever obtained any riparian rights to the lake. I did. It's mine. Asterisk. I thought about ignoring the letter, but something told me this wouldn't be the last I'd hear of it, and I was right. A week later, a woman in a pantsuit and sunglasses strutted up my driveway, clipboard in hand. Her name tag said Karen MHOA Enforcement Officer, asterisk, Mr. Carson. She snapped without so much as a greeting. You've been notified that your boat is in violation of community regulations. You have 3 days left before penalties are imposed. Asterisk. I calmly looked her in the eyes and said, Karen, I own the lake. Asterisk. She blinked, clearly thrown off for a moment. I don't think you understand. The HOA governs this neighborhood and all adjacent common areas, including the lake. Asterisk. No, Karen, I replied, walking her to the edge of my dock and pulling out a folder from a bench box. You don't understand. The deed. This is the survey. T's, the water rights documentation. Asterisk. She didn't even look at the papers. Asterisk. We'll see about that. She sniffed and walked off. Asterisk. Asterisk. The next day, a brightly colored sign appeared on my property just outside the fence near the dock. This property in violation. Unauthorized use of HOA lake asterisk fines pending. HOA, notice they really thought they could intimidate me. I went to the HOA office to talk. It was a mistake. The room was filled with smug board members who clearly believed they had authority over everyone and everything. Karen was there, arms folded like she had won something. Asterisk. I calmly repeated my position. I owned a lake, not just this piece. All of it. I bought it. I paid taxes on it. You are mistaken. Asterisk. The president of the HOA, a retired insurance manager named Phil, scoffed. Well, even if you did, we have covenants in place. Community rules prohibit private docks. Asterisk. Those covenants don't apply to me, I replied. I never signed them. I'm not part of the HOA. You people just assumed everyone who moved near the lake was under your control. Scotia slammed her hand on the table. We have attorneys, Mr. Carson. Do you? Asterisk. I smiled. Actually, I am an attorney. Silence. Their expressions changed instantly, but instead of backing down, Phil doubled down. Then you know how expensive lawsuits are. Is this really the hill you want to die on? Asterisk. I leaned in. You've chosen the wrong lake to mess with. I left and immediately got to work. First, contacted my title company and had updated copies of the deed and riparian rights documents printed and notarized. Asterisk. Then I filed a formal cease and desist against the HOA for trespassing and slander of title. But that wasn't all. See, I had always been a quiet neighbor, but now they had poked the bear. So I decided to remind the HOA of what it meant to mess with the legal owner of the lake they were abusing. Asterisk. I installed private property trespassers will be prosecuted signs all along the lake's perimeter. Asterisk. Then I filed a public notice, with the county revoking all assumed public access to the lake, including from HOA parks and docks that were technically built on land still owned but hadn't enforced until now. A week later, chaos erupted. The HOA's fancy community lakefront picnic area closed off. Asterisk. Their new community paddle boat rental shut down. Asterisk. Residents came to the lake for their weekend fun, only to find no trespassing signs, yellow tape, and a uniformed officer from the sheriff's office. Asterisk. Karen showed up, yelling, "You can't do this." Asterisk. I pointed to the badge and said, "I didn't." He did. Asterisk. Sheriff's Deputy Carlson backed me up. Mr. Carson has every right. We've verified his documents. The HOA never had legal access. You folks are lucky he didn't sue earlier. Asterisk. Asterisk. Karen and the board weren't done. They tried one last Hail Mary and filed a motion in small claims court, alleging nuisance and demanding I cease and desist from blocking lake access. Asterisk. I countered with a lawsuit of my own $250,000 in damages for illegal HOA encroachment, unapproved use of private land, and harassment. Asterisk. They wanted war. They got it. Asterisk. But the court didn't take long, with documentation, maps, property records, and tax receipts all in my favor. The judge didn't even let it drag out. The HOA's case was dismissed with prejudice. My lawsuit was allowed to proceed. Asterisk. The HOA was now officially being sued for $250,000. Their insurance provider backed out, refusing to cover a case involving knowingly trespassing on private land. Asterisk. The board held an emergency meeting. Half the members resigned. Karen tried to shift blame to Phil, and Phil tried to throw Karen under the bus. Asterisk. A few weeks later, I got an official letter. Greater than, Dear Mr. Carson, the Whispering Pines HOA board formally apologizes for its prior actions and misinterpretations regarding your legal ownership of Lake Hawthorne. We have ceased all claims of authority over the lake and have removed all community features attached to its shoreline. We respectfully request dismissal of the pending legal action in exchange for a full public retraction and payment of $75,000. Asterisk. I laughed. Not because of the money, though I did accept it, but because, in the end, they were the ones begging for mercy, and I gave it. PARTIALLY. I dismissed the lawsuit. But I didn't allow public lake access again. Asterisk. Instead, I opened a private boating club. Residents from the HOA who still wanted access could apply for annual memberships for a $1,500 fee. Asterisk. And guess who was the first person to apply? Karen. Her son had loved fishing on the lake. She actually tried to act sweet in her application letter. I declined it. I framed it and hung it on the wall of my boathouse. Asterisk. Power doesn't come from a clipboard, a name tag, or a neighborhood board vote. It comes from facts, from knowing your rights, and from having the courage to stand your ground when bullies try to push you. Asterisk. The HOA tried to control something they never had a right to. They made assumptions, flexed false authority, and when challenged, thought intimidation would win the day. Asterisk. But I knew the truth. You don't fight battles with noise. You win them with documents. Asterisk. So the next time someone waves regulations in your face, ask them a simple question. Asterisk. Greater than do you actually own what you're trying to control? Asterisk. Because, if not, maybe they're just paddling in someone else's lake.